All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? Shout out to everyone tuning in. Let's go. There is a lot to talk about today. I'm telling you, a lot. See if we get some more people in the building. Making sure the connection's all good on YouTube. It was a little laggy at the start, but I think we might have gotten it figured out. I think. Had to quickly disconnect to the internet and then reconnect right away. I think it's because I plugged in my LAN cable a little late, which that's my fault. That is my fault. What's up, boxing? Let's go. Hope you're having a fantastic day. By the way, much appreciated for the dono the other day. Much appreciated, my guy. First one ever. So, there you go. What's up, JD? Appreciate you for tuning in. Let's go. All right. You know, it amazes me just how much has actually happened during this free agency period. Because last year wasn't nearly this busy. At least from what I can remember, wasn't nearly as chaotic, if that makes any sense. And there's still, I mean, I'm telling you, there's more to talk about today than there was yesterday, than there was the day before that, and stuff like that. But it might be a little shorter. I'm still planning on going for about an hour, maybe a little over an hour, because a lot of these are like mid-level signings, nothing like too spectacular. There's a couple that, there's a retirement that happened, just a couple random signings here and there, so there's not a whole lot to dive through. But I think we can get some good content out of this. I think we can get a good conversation out of this. If you guys have any questions, make sure to shoot them my way. Let's see how... Making sure this post is up. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. I believe I got that off. What's up, Randy? Appreciate you for tuning in. Got a lot to talk about during this free agency period. Even more today. What? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, I did shit. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I suppose we can probably get started here in just a few seconds. I think I got everything ready to rock and roll. All right. Let's stop the music and let's get down to business because free agency frenzy is real. Yeah, it's a busy day. There's a lot of news. Like, I follow all the insiders on not Instagram, on Twitter, so I get like front row seat to see, you know, what is actually happening around the National Football League. So that's why some of these signings are probably gonna be like, okay, cool. Why did I need to know that? But I think it's cool for all of us to kind of see what's actually happening, how the league's kind of shaping out to be, so to say. So, what's up, A-Rules? Yeah, I seen he was on as well. That World Baseball Classic USA versus Japan, the championship game. Started at 6. But we are about to start the show. I'll probably be able to watch a little bit of that after this. But let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Pause the music. All right, shout out to everyone watching right now. Make sure to drop that like, subscribe to the channel. It'd be much appreciated. I mean, we don't have to. We don't got enough in here right now. I'm sure more people will hop in. It's going to be a fantastic day. Hopefully, oh, of course. Hopefully the connection actually figures itself out. I apologize if there's any lags. I have no idea why it's doing that. All right, it looks fine on my end. So let's get started. Lots to talk about, like I mentioned a couple times. But shout out to everyone watching. Like, subscribe, you get it. Here we go. Let's start off with right off the bat with Austin Ekeler. Right at the beginning of this free agency frenzy period, Austin Ekeler came out and basically said, look, me and the Chargers are trying to reach an agreement. Okay, we have not come to that agreement, so I would like permission to seek a trade. The Chargers then in return gave him that permission to seek a trade, go speak with other teams and see if they could work something out. Because if you don't know, Austin Ekeler is currently, 6.25, so $6.25 million on the books this season. That is his salary. Okay, that is what he's going to make this season. For Austin Eckler, who's basically number one in touchdowns the past 2 seasons, is an absolute dog, needs to be paid more than $6.2 million or $6.25 million, basically. I think he's an $8 million a year running back. Maybe. I think he should be at least making $8 million or whatever he wants. Maybe he probably wants $9-10 million. I think Dalvin Cook's getting like 14 or something like that. So maybe he wants upwards of $12 million a year. But we all know that these owners, these GMs, they don't want to pay running backs, right? Because they're a dime a dozen. You can literally go out there and find them anywhere. Okay, you can go on the streets and find a guy on the sidewalk and say, hey, would you like to be a running back for the Los Angeles Chargers? Yeah, sure. All right, let's have a tryout. Bam, he's actually a dog. You're signed to the team, right? You can go into college and you can see Bijan Robinson or whatever. You're like, okay, he's going to be good. But what happens if he turns out to be a bust? Or, you draft the guy in the 7th round like Isaiah Pacheco for the Kansas City Chiefs. He goes out. He has a fantastic season. Looks like he's going to be the number 1 running back for the Chiefs this upcoming year. And you just never know. They're basically a dime a dozen like I mentioned before, right? So Austin Eckler today, he's been receiving a lot of backlash, and you don't want to be on the Chargers, you hate the organization, like what's the deal, blah blah blah. Well, he kind of cleared it up on the Green Light podcast or something like that, or it's called Green Light. I'm sure it's a podcast or something like that. I didn't do too much diving, but I do have this quote from Austin Eckler per Ian Rappaport. It says, Austin Eckler on the Green Light. It's not like, oh, I hate the Chargers and I need to get out of this organization and I need to leave. That couldn't be further from the truth. I would like to stay if it was under the right circumstances. Okay, so under the right circumstances, right? Contract. That's what he wants. He wants a nice 3-year extension, probably, if I had to assume, probably $10 to $12 million a year because, look, number 1 in touchdowns the past 2 seasons. We've talked about it. He deserves that type of money. All right, so Austin Eckler's like, look, we have a great relationship with the Chargers and stuff like that. We're trying to figure out a contract. It wasn't getting done. Nothing was happening. I just wanted permission to seek a trade if that was possible. They gave me that permission. So the Chargers are basically set in stone and saying, hey, you're going to get $6.25 million this year unless you find a trade partner that's willing to give us what we would want in return for you. Okay, so whatever that may be, maybe it's a 2nd-round pick, a 3rd-round pick, maybe a player or something along those lines. The Chargers are okay with only paying Austin Eckler $6.25 million. And, I mean, I don't blame him, but at the same time, when you get a guy that has the type of production that Austin Eckler has, if we look at Austin Eckler's stats real quick, if I can pull it up without typing something very, very wrong. There we go. Last year, 915 yards, 13 touchdowns. Fantastic. Had 107 receptions. And then you look at 2021, 911 yards, 12 touchdowns. He also had 70 catches. Literally every single year that he's been in the league since 2017, his production has went up massively. I'm telling you, the numbers I'm looking at currently continuously grow. The only time they dipped was in 2020 when he had 27 less rushing yards. But he also, I guess he didn't have as many receptions. He might have been hurt that year, if I do remember correctly. But Austin Eckler gives you good production. Okay, he's a starting caliber running back in this league, number 1 in touchdowns, and that could be because the play calling that Los Angeles likes to do over there. Those little go for a 4th down all the time. We're gonna kind of be sneaky. We're gonna see what can happen. But Austin Eckler wants his money. He deserves a 3-year contract, and I think there's gonna be a team out there that's willing to give that to him. It's not going to be the Chargers. I would love to see Austin Eckler get a nice deal for or with the Los Angeles Chargers, but right now that just doesn't seem like reality. Okay, so I'm not sure where he's going to end up. I know Detroit was linked to him at one point, but I don't see that happening anymore, being that they signed David Montgomery, got rid of Jamal Williams. So now they have David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, and Craig Reynolds, I believe is his name, in the backfield. So they have their 3 running backs, okay? The Buffalo Bills, they signed Damian Harris to pair with Naheem Hines. They could still look at a number 1 running back. Austin Eckler could definitely be that fit over there in Buffalo. You're also looking, let's see, New England could sneak in there. I doubt that's going to happen. Maybe, but Bill Belichick has a resume of not wanting to pay these guys, okay? He has that type of resume. Where they got Breece Hall and it's not James Robinson anymore. He left. Maybe, but Austin Eckler's a starter. He's not going to go anywhere where he doesn't think he's going to be the starter. And the Jets, I don't think he's going to. He probably would be, but if you're the Jets, you look at that situation and you go, okay, we have Breece Hall. He's young. He's cheap. Don't get me wrong, Austin Eckler's young as well, but he wants a contract, okay? Especially if they're looking to bring in Aaron Rodgers. I don't really see that. John says Chicago Bears. Okay, now we're talking. That would suck. That would absolutely suck. But I'd be all for it. I mean, the Chicago Bears, Austin Eckler, that would be a decent signing, I think. Bucks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No, I can't see that, man. They got rid of Leonard Fournette, okay? They don't have much cap space. They're kind of rolling the dice on whatever they can get, and I think they're going to go out and draft a lot of those pieces, a lot of those younger guys. I think they still have Rashad White, I think that's how you say his name. So, like, if they didn't want Leonard Fournette, why would they want Austin Eckler? Because he'd probably be about the same amount of money. That's just kind of how my brain's thinking right now. That's just kind of my opinion. I mean, it definitely could happen, and I'd be okay with that. I think that'd be a fantastic fit. But I just don't see that happening because they didn't want Leonard Fournette. That's the only one. Cowboys definitely not. They're going to roll with Tony Pollard, probably find a guy in the draft late, or maybe sign one in free agency, something like that. But there's definitely teams out there. The Chicago Bears make a lot of sense. Make a lot of sense. Let me catch up on this chat. Oh, yeah, 70 catches. Yeah, that's wide receiver 2 level. Absolutely. As a running back. This dude is what, I mean, I don't want to say that. I'm not going to make that comparison. I was going to say, like, I'm going to zip my mouth on that one. Because I was going to kind of compare him to Christian McCaffrey in a way. But, I mean, he is. You know, he just didn't have that 1,000-yard receiving, 1,000-yard rushing season. But Austin Eckler is a dog, if I do say so myself. What's up, JJ fam? Hey, let's go. Shout out. Let's go, man. That's what we like to see. That is what we like to see. What'd you post? I'll have to go check it out. I will have to go check it out. Which teams are desperate for a running back? Chicago, like John said. You're looking at... Let me go look. I just need to look at the teams because then for some reason the names start flowing in my head and I can actually tell you who might potentially be in the play. Buffalo, I could say they're not desperately in need of one, but I could see Buffalo making a move. I don't like that. Kansas City, but they have Pacheco, and I think Pacheco is a nice starting running back, but if they don't believe he's a starting caliber running back, maybe then they can make a move on Austin Eckler, so that would be interesting. But in the same division, I don't think the Chargers are willing to trade away Austin Eckler in that division. The Chargers probably... I wish he could just stay a Charger, but that's probably not the reality of this story. Raiders... No, they got Josh Jacobs. They franchise tag him. Josh McDaniels came from the New England Patriots, who doesn't like paying running backs, so why would he? And we've seen that front row and center with Josh Jacobs getting that franchise tag, even though I think he deserved a contract as well. You could look at Denver potentially being a possibility for Austin Eckler. Baltimore, they always seem to need running backs. They have a lot. They have quite a few. Was it last year they had their top 3, Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, and what's his name? One other guy. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. But they had 3 people go down. 3 people go down and had to use their 4th-string guy. So, I mean, Baltimore could use him. Yeah, Jacksonville's okay. They have Travis Etienne. They will be fine at running back. They will be fine. Not Cleveland. Let's see. Tennessee. No. I can't see that. Let's see. NFC. NFC, we're looking at maybe Philadelphia. Maybe because they lost Miles Sanders. I don't know if that would work out, but that would be an interesting land. That would definitely be interesting. Let's see. Washington. I could see the Commanders trying to make a move for Austin Eckler because they have J.D. McKissic and Antonio Gibson, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, they could use one. Sanders went to the Carolina Panthers. He went to the Carolina Panthers. Rams, stay in LA, just basically change teams. That'd be interesting for Austin Eckler. You could Arizona would be very, very interesting. I don't think that's going to happen. Him to Arizona, but Detroit won't happen. Chicago. I think Chicago seems like the most likely landing spot for him. The most likely one, I should say. Yeah, man. I don't know. This whole Austin Eckler situation is very interesting because he has no hate for that Chargers relation or for that Chargers organization. He just wants to be paid handsomely, and they're not willing to do that. Okay, they gave him permission to seek a trade for a reason, so he's going to go out and he's going to talk to other teams and see what's going to happen, see what's playing. John says, I'm thinking Bears, Philly, and Washington got no cap space. I could see Rams or Arizona, if not Bears. Yeah, okay. See, I wasn't for sure on Philly or Washington because, yeah, their cap space I thought was pretty tight-knit. But the Rams and Arizona would make some sense. God, him on the Cardinals. Does that make that team better? Because they're going to lose DeAndre Hopkins, which we're going to get to here in just a second. But they have James Conner. So, I mean, you look, James Conner, Austin Eckler, little duo back there. I wouldn't be opposed. You put Austin Eckler out there for first down, second down, and then you have James Conner in for third down. Maybe. Or you can put Austin Eckler in there all 3 downs and then just put Conner in there whenever you think. Hey, Rules, were you here when we talked about that Odell Beckham situation yesterday? I thought you were. Remember, it was a rumor that he wanted $20 million a year. But he said, he's like, I want to know where y'all getting this from. Because I didn't say that. All I'm saying is $4 million ain't enough. Yeah. So he's just saying, like, $4 million, that's too cheap. Okay, you got to pay me a little bit more. Nowhere near $20 million I don't think he's looking for. Oh, wow. John said, okay. John wants Odell Beckham in Green Bay. Now, I could see that happening. That could be, oof. Especially you give Jordan Love that type of weapon. That's perfect because that's exactly what Green Bay needs to do, right? I mean, yeah, it'd be like, oh, finally they give the quarterback weapon as soon as Aaron Rodgers leaves. But it's like, well, yeah, no, I mean, why not? Look, why not give your quarterback, the guy who's rarely ever started for Green Bay, this will be his first full season. Why not give him the best chance possible to succeed? Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, 2 young receivers. You throw Odell Beckham Jr. in the mix, a vet who's been there, done that. I think that helps that offense out tremendously. And then you go and draft the tight end. And I do not like that. But for Green Bay, that would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic for Green Bay to land Odell Beckham. I've also seen Baltimore floated around. I've seen New England floated around. The Minnesota Vikings has been floated around, which, come on home. Okay, we'll treat you nice. We got an indoor stadium, so you don't have to go play in Green Bay where it's cold as shit, at certain times of the year. And, we'll pay you handsomely. Maybe. Probably not. All right, you get $6 million, maybe $8 million. Here you go. How you doing? Keep it moving. But, yeah, Austin Eckler's situation still has yet to get figured out. And he, I believe, is looking at other teams. They do have that money. John just put it in the chat that he said that Green Bay has the 4th most cap space available right now. So they do have that type of money to potentially land Odell Beckham. Potentially. All right, let's move forward. This one was kind of an interesting one coming out of the National Football League. We have a retirement. Longtime Patriots linebacker Donta Hightower is officially retiring after 10 seasons in the NFL and winning 3 Super Bowls. So not too shabby, if I do say so myself. I mean, the dude was a stud. I believe he was injured at some point in his career where it kind of took away a year, if I'm not mistaken. But if we look at his stats, okay, right there, boom, 2-time Pro Bowler as well. This dude is a dog, or was a dog. In 2017, he was injured, only had 5 starts. But we're looking at 1 interception in 2018, lots of pass deflections. He really wasn't a guy who forced fumbles. He got a lot of sacks, 27 sacks in his career. In his 10-year career, 27 sacks. Not bad, but for a linebacker, I think that's pretty decent. Tackle-wise, he's going to get you about 60 to 70. That's kind of what he did per year. I don't see this guy as a Hall of Famer by any means, but he went out there and he was just a solid piece of that defense, a Bill Belichick defense. You're kind of under the radar. You're really not going to hear too many names outside of corner. And so Donta Hightower officially announced his retirement from the NFL after 10 years and winning three Super Bowls. Cincinnati has the most cap space, but they need it for Burrow and Chase. Yes. What did he say? Yeah, A-Rules. Mark works hard, man. Mark works hard for Steelers Nation Australia. He does a lot. Puts out a lot of videos every single day. At least I'm pretty sure. Monday through Friday for sure, maybe Saturday, Sunday. But he is working, man. He is working. But yeah, Donta Hightower is officially retiring from the National Football League. That's a great career. I would say so myself, boxing. Absolutely phenomenal career. All right, another guy around the NFL. There's a long hair right here. Get this off the table. Thank you. How you doing? Keep it moving. But there's another guy on the table that had expressed his opinion, or not really his opinion, but expressed his feelings of being or wanting to be traded. That, ladies and gentlemen, is DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, things have just not been working out down in Arizona. We got the NFL team report cards got back. Arizona was towards the bottom of those report cards, just crappy facilities left and right. And they didn't have the success that they thought they were going to have last season. Kyler Murray was really banged up. I think D-Hop had a little bit of an issue as well last season, but he still was able to ball out. All right, if we look at D-Hop's stats last year, I think we talked about it not too long ago, 717 yards, 3 tutties. Nothing too spectacular, but the dude, we know about D-Hop. He's going to find a way to get open, and he's going to make plays left and right. But he wants the ability to seek a trade. He's gotten it, and it seems as if things are starting to heat up just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. This is a tweet from Ian Rappaport. As the status of Arizona Cardinals star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins comes into focus, talks are ramping up among the interested team, sources say. Similar to Brandon Cooks, a trade would likely mean an altered contract. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see if his contract's real quick. Let's go to Spotrac. He signed a 2-year, $54.5 million with the Arizona Cardinals, so about 27.5. What is that? Oh, okay. No, so he only makes, oh, never mind. Yeah, $19.4 million this year for D-Hop. And I think that's D-Hop numbers right there. You have to give him that. You have to. So, now there's a couple teams that are in the mix for D-Hops. That's obviously the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans could definitely use his services. I don't see why not. They lose A.J. Brown because they don't think they need him. They thought, Treylon Burks will be just fine. He's just as good. He was compared to A.J. Brown. Let's roll with him moving forward. Robert Woods comes in the building. He was an absolute, that was just bad. Okay, Robert Woods was just absolutely terrible. But, what do you expect from a guy that just tore his ACL and came back? And you don't expect anybody to have an AP or an Adrian Peterson type season after they tear their ACL. It's just not realistic, right? But this would mean an altered contract, right? So if New England gets him, I'm assuming New England would have to alter that contract, or at least want to, or push it down the line. Give him I don't know how they would do that, because I don't think he has any voidable years at all in his contract right now. Next year, he's $14.9 million. That's what he gets for his base salary. So let's see. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen, what's going to come of this. Kansas City, I think, could pay him that money because they would definitely find a way. But if you're altering the contract, you would have to push it down, right? You'd have to add voidable years and kind of thin out that money a little bit so you don't take such a big cap hit, if that makes any sense. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know why the Patriots are seeming like the place for him either, because they don't like paying players, especially skill position players, because you can, they're a dime a dozen. Wide receiver, not so much. But, I mean, it's Bill Belichick, and I guess Bill Belichick, DeAndre Hopkins have had a great relationship. They have talked in the past. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, obviously, because you can talk to whoever you want. Be like, yeah, I talked to this guy. We're good buddies. But really, in reality, it's just nothing's going to come of it, right? So New England would be interesting. They would definitely need to alter the contract. They'd probably void his contract, make Arizona pay it. I'm not really sure how it would all work. Not that I know of a rules. Not that I can see or that I've heard. He just wants to go to a place where he has the best opportunity to succeed, to win ball games. I think that is ultimately what is on his mind. Now, why is this? Okay. But I don't know what's up with D-Hop right now. Baltimore would be a good one. I also seen Baltimore as a potential landing spot for him as well. And I think that would make a lot of sense. But we talked about it the other day where it's like, okay, so if he goes to Baltimore, what does Lamar Jackson decide? Or, I mean, he really couldn't decide what to do. Like, because he's still out there in the open market trying to seek contract offers from other teams, which I haven't heard much on that front right now. So it doesn't seem like teams are kind of chomping at the bit to get him. They might wait till after the draft to do some. Okay. So John brings up a little point here. Rumors about Jerry Jeudy being traded to the Browns. So if that happens, do you think D-Hop could find his way in Denver? I'm not sure if they have the draft capital because I remember Gage, host of the Denver Broncos Syndicate, shout out to him. I believe he said, because they were trying to trade for somebody, and I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but he was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't think we have the draft capital to do that, to pull that move off. And they ultimately, in the end, had enough to get the deal done. I can't remember exactly who it was. So would D-Hop, if D-Hop, or if they get rid of Jerry Jeudy, D-Hop could find his way into Denver, and that would be, yeah, Russ did eat a lot. He ate a lot of that cap space. But D-Hop in Denver would be fantastic. Him and Russ. And then what, you're looking at Cortland Sutton. So maybe that's what they would do. They would trade. They wouldn't trade receiver for receiver. Because D-Hop, we see what Brandon Cooks got traded for. He got traded for a bag of bones. A 5th round pick and a 6th round pick. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. But what am I? I'm not a GM or anything like that. So maybe it does make sense. But D-Hop's going to be on the move, and it might be sooner rather than later. Maybe, potentially, because they're ramping up. Maybe teams are trying to figure it out right now before the draft so that they can evaluate their team and see what happens. Denver only got $7.2 million. They would definitely, they would definitely need to alter his contract then. Wait, so how much? Okay, so I want to look at Jerry Jeudy real quick. Jerry Jeudy hit against the cap, because I want to see how much that would clear up for Denver. If they ended up getting rid of Jerry Jeudy, how much cap space would that clear up for Denver? But then if you sign D-Hop, you pretty much you eat all that cap space up. I'll look at Seattle's cap space here in a second. So I can't see it right now. What are we doing? No, that's not okay. All right, Jerry Jeudy contract. There we go. Okay, so we're looking at Spotrac. They should tell us what he is against the cap hit. Okay, so this year Jerry Jeudy is $4.8 million cap hit. So if you get rid of that $4.8 mil, that would be what? $12 million you have left in cap space if you get rid of Jerry Jeudy. So you bring in D-Hop. That would essentially, let's see if I can go all the way back here. Look at his contracts. Let's see what his cap hit. Oh my God. Not a chance. Not a chance. Bro, DeAndre Hopkins cap hit this season, $30.7 million. That is why Arizona's like, yeah, we might have to trade this man. And that's why that tweet right there says that the contract would likely be altered. Because $30 million, oh my God, what happened? How did he? So that's the signing bonus on top of his base salary. That's his option on top of that. And a restructure is also on top of that, 3.5. Okay, yeah, my God is right. $30 million cap hit. Unbelievable. Wow. Okay. So he definitely has value. So not a chance Denver would make that happen. I mean, they could do a lot of financial finagling, if you will, kind of like figuring things out and then making the signing. But boy, that is ridiculous. Who's going to sign D-Hop? They're going to have to alter that contract big time. What are they like? Do they force Arizona to finish paying that out, or does Arizona take that cap hit? Well, they would probably clear up some. There would be some dead cap. So I'm not really sure how that whole thing. Yeah, he's staying in Arizona, most likely. I don't see early retirement for him. No, he's too damn good. Too damn good. for real, Air Rules. Just when you thought Odell wanted money, this man $30 million. $30 million against the cap. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, I get it. It is D-Hop, but do the Bears, John, what do the Bears have? What are they listed as? God, that would suck. Don't go to Chicago. I don't think that's going to happen, but we do not need the Chicago Bears to all of a sudden be fantastic. No, they're not the only players. I mean, you got to look at the younger players too. You look at Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. They're going to get massive paydays. I bet Devontae Adams. I bet his contract's pretty nice. Can't remember exactly the number it was, but it's close to 20. It's Was it Devontae Adams contract? Okay, so the Bears got like $34 million. So the Bears could make it happen. God. Please, no. Please, no. Okay, yeah, Devontae Adams, 5 years, $140 million. He is currently, let's see what his cap hit. Okay, that's a little bit more doable. Oh, my heavens. Okay, so Devontae Adams' cap hit right now is 14.7 mil. Next year it goes up to 25.3 mil. But then in 25 and 26 for the Raiders, which obviously this probably won't mean much. It'll seem like it's a low cap hit because the cap space is going to continue to grow and continue to be just this massive thing, right? I am edgy on that. But his cap hit in 2025 and 2026 is $44.1 million. 44.1. Okay. So he would be $15.7 million in dead cap. And that his potential out is in 25. Okay, so he's stuck with the Raiders unless they trade him. Yeah, so, I mean, these receivers, if you're good, if you're a top receiver in the NFL, a top 5 receiver in the National Football League, maybe even top 10, you're going to get a massive payday. A massive payday. And D-Hop, $30 million against the cap this year? Oh, my God. Oh my God, who's going to pay that? That is, he has to be staying there. Has to be staying there. All right, let's get off that D-Hop situation because that number just absolutely blew my mind. So yesterday we heard of the signing of, I believe it was yesterday. Yeah, it was definitely yesterday. The new Texans tight end, Dalton Schultz, got signed to a 1-year deal worth up to $9 million. That contract is actually a 1-year, $6.25 million contract. He also can earn up to $2.75 or $2.75 million in incentives, so that in turn bumps it up to $9 million. So he definitely will make $6.25, but it depends on if he gets a certain amount of catches, a certain amount of yards, makes a Pro Bowl, stuff like that. He can earn up to $9 million total. So that's kind of the whole outlook on that. on that contract signing for the Texans, which, I mean, Las Vegas, what are we doing? Yeah, let's go sign O.J. Howard. Dalton Schultz still available, but I don't care. Let me sign O.J. Howard for once. That just didn't make any sense to me. But, no, John. Justin Jefferson, number one. Number one. Okay? Sorry about it. All right? Adams, 2. We'll put him at 2. Or they're tied for 1. I can give you that. Absolutely. We can definitely do that. I think we have, I just checked the other day. You know what? We're going to do it right now. Because we got done with that Dalton Schultz information. Vikings cap space. Yes. Hey, easy on that, okay? We understand Jareer Alexander shut down JJ, okay? But we don't need to hear it left and right, okay? Let's just put it like this. Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the National Football League, plain and simple, okay? We'll just leave it at that. How you like them apples? If we're looking at the Vikes cap space right now, I don't care. There we go. Cap space. I want to see what's available. John, what is the Vikings cap space? If you can look that up real quick for me. I'm trying to find it. Current Vikings cap space. I should say available cap space. Okay. No, I don't. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so they're talking about an extension. Let's take the path. I can't find it. I cannot find it. John will have to help us out here. If he can, or if he even wants to. We'll wait for him. I don't know why. So it looks like we have 9 points minus 10. Yeah, okay. God damn it. Can we make some moves? Can we restructure some contracts? I mean, for Jesus. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it at all. Makes no sense to me. Whatever. Let's move forward. Minnesota can figure their crap out anytime now. That'd be fantastic. All right. The Eagles made a nice signing today. Pretty damn good if I do say so myself. They lose TJ Edwards. They lost a couple pieces on defense to other teams as well. I believe they decided to retain, or Fletcher Cox decided to re-sign back there. They're trying to keep the old team around, but they lost a lot defensively. And, they gained back a pretty nice linebacker. Per Jeremy Fowler, linebacker Nicholas Morrow has agreed to a deal with the Philadelphia Eagles per source. Morrow recorded 116 tackles, 11 for a loss in 17 starts with the Chicago Bears last season. So in return, the Eagles send TJ Edwards over there, and the Bears linebacker decides, you know what, I'm going to go sign with the Eagles. We'll kind of flip-flop how you do and keep it moving. Not really sure on the specifics of this deal. If I had to assume, it's probably a 1-year deal. Maybe a 2-year, potentially a 2-year. So I like this signing. The dude obviously flies around, makes plays, and gets to the ball, clogs up the holes and stuff like that. Everything you like a linebacker to do, it seems like Nicholas Morrow does. So Philadelphia has got a good one here. Nice signing by Philadelphia. All right, next signing. Let's move forward. The Broncos have signed former Rams punter Riley Dixon. He also spent his first 2 seasons with Denver, leaves Denver, goes to LA, and then comes back to Denver. It's kind of a feel-good story, if you will. But Riley Dixon is now the Broncos punter. Not sure of the contract. I think it was a 1-year deal, but we don't have to look further into that because, it is, it's a punter, but at the same time, they deserve love as well. Okay. Also, the Dallas Cowboys ended up signing offensive tackle Chuma Adoga to a 1-year deal. I butchered that name. I definitely know I did. And if I said it correctly, wow, I'd be absolutely pumped about that. But that's a pretty good move. Offensive tackle comes back to the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's just a I think he's just a depth piece, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let's see. Dallas Cowboys depth chart. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. God, the service in here is just atrocious. Exactly. For real, boxing. I try my best. Okay. Yep, so he's their backup right tackle. He's their backup, or he's probably their backup right tackle for now, but he probably can play left tackle. He's behind Tyron Smith. And Tyron Smith, he just restructured his contract to clear a little bit of cap space. So this is just to shore up that depth at the offensive line position and getting Chuma back in the building. So good for the Dallas Cowboys in getting back their offensive tackle, I should say. Also, the Chiefs made a pretty nice signing, if I do say so myself. This was a decent one. Let me pull this up real quick. Derek, okay. Bam. All right. Kansas City Chiefs, per Ari Mirov. The Chiefs are re-signing starting defensive tackle Derek Nadi per his agent's Sports Trust. Nadi started all 20 games last year and now returns for a 6th season in Kansas City. This is a 1-year deal. Not sure of the money right now, the compensation for it, but they did bring him back. And look, last year, not great, but nothing terrible. 25 combined tackles, no sacks, no interceptions. However, in 2021, he probably had one of his best seasons with 38 combined tackles, 3 sacks. So this is just another one of those pieces where you're like, they kind of need it, and it's good to kind of keep the guy around. Let's look at Kansas City real quick, because if he is their starting, he started all 20 games last year, so that means he's a crucial piece to that defense. But I want to see who they have paired next to him. Because I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's, what's his face? Yeah, Chris Jones. Chris Jones is right there with him. Wait, what? They don't even have him listed here. Yeah, they do. He's their 3rd stringer? What happened? Why he started all 20 games last year, and he's listed as their 3rd string defensive tackle? Interesting. Did they deal with a lot of injuries? I don't think they did. Sounds good, A-Rules. I don't think they had that many injuries last season. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But the Chiefs re-signing starting defensive tackle Derek Nadi to a 1-year deal. Unsure of the compensation at this point. But the Chiefs lock up their D tackle. Good for them. All right. We have another wide receiver finally off the board. This one was a decent signing. I think this one needed to happen just because this certain team right now really needed this in a big way. They needed a weapon. They needed a wide receiver. They have needed a wide receiver for the past 2 seasons now. But per Adam Schefter, per Ari Mirov, I put both these tweets in here just so you guys can get a little clarification. They're both the exact same, just so you guys know it's legit. Former Bills wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie is signing with the Indianapolis Colts per his agent's Sports Trust. This is a nice signing. I like it. They have Michael Pittman Jr. over there. They also have that 6'7" tight end. Can't remember his name, but now they bring in Isaiah McKenzie to be that slot guy, maybe the number 2. But for sure playing in the slot. Last year he was tied for, no, we're not going to say that. 42 catches, 423 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's not going to, blow the doors off, if you will, on any team, but he's a decent receiver. You're going to get the most out of him at the slot position and probably just get a lot of check down throws. He's a quick little guy. I think, he's 5'8", 173. If we look at his 40, do they have it posted here? They do not. Okay. I thought they would have. Isaiah McKenzie, 40. If we look at his 40 time, that will tell us a lot about Isaiah McKenzie and what he can do. 4.4. Eesh. So he's quick, but he's not too quick. I wish he was a little faster. I wish he ran like a 4.3 because that'd be perfect. But still, 4.4, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. You're gonna put him you're gonna put him in the slot. A lot of slant routes, a lot of quick curl routes, stuff like that. He's gonna get you some yards, little check down wide receiver. I like this signing from Indianapolis. They still need to add more pieces, I think. It would have been nice to see them potentially trade for DeAndre Hopkins or even sign Odell Beckham Jr. They could still do that, depending on how much money he wants. But the Indianapolis Colts are trying to make some moves, trying to get that team back in the right spot, if you will, because 2 years ago they made a nice little run. Last year, everyone's like, oh, this team probably going to make the Super Bowl, probably going to go on a run, and they didn't. They absolutely shit the bed. So they signed a wide receiver, Isaiah McKenzie. I like this signing. I really do. He does. What Boxing said. He plays well in big games. Plays well in big games. And that's all you need out of a receiver. Shout out. Let's go, Mark. What's up, my guy? Appreciate you tuning in. Let's go. Day 9. Yes, 9 straight days of free agency. Because free agency period, the legal tampering period, or free agency, opened up last Monday. 9 days ago. This is day 9. Absolutely. We'll keep trucking. Getting all these interesting things happening. All right, this one is not a signing. This is not a retiring. This is for the NFL. Apparently, per Ari Mirov, the NFL has named Kristen Dorfler as its chief financial advisor, a 21-year veteran of NBC Universal, where she was most recently the CFO of NBC Sports. Dorfler will report directly to Commissioner Goodell and lead the finance and league strategy functions. Not really sure what her job will consist of. I'm sure a lot of the financial, ends of things, if you do say so. Yeah, Mark, we gained about 38 subs this week. 38 subs. Got a donation from old Boxing up there. Shout out to him as well. We've been cruising, my guy. We've been having fun. So I'm not really sure what her main job is going to be, but it's going to be a lot of like it says, the financial sides of it. Probably going to be handling a lot of money for the NFL and the strategy, okay? A lot of the strategy functions, how the league is run, how it, can we make it smoother, stuff like that. But hey, shout out to Christine Dorfler for getting the new CFO. I believe that's what it is, Chief Financial Officer job for the National Football League. Seems like she knows what she's doing, okay? And I'm just going to leave it at that. I am just going to leave it at that. We don't need Beckham, says Mark. Yeah, hey, I heard that and I don't see it happening. But that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. I don't think that's a Pittsburgh Steeler move, to say the least, in my opinion. Yes, they did. I doubt he wants to be. All right, so let's move forward again. Now we're back to some signings. This one was a nice one as well. Oh, never mind. Cross the Dallas Cowboys off the Austin Eckler list. Definitely cross them off, even though I said right away, not going to happen. They actually signed a backup running back for Tony Pollard because they let go of Zeke. Things weren't working out. Zeke's production continuously decided to decrease or decline over the years. And Tony Pollard was an absolute animal last season. When Zeke wasn't in there, Pollard was rushing for 100 yards, and it seemed like the right move. Take Zeke, get him out of town, and run the ball with Pollard, and that's all you need to do. That's exactly what they did this offseason, but they added a backup for Tony Pollard, in which Todd Archer, another insider, I believe, or one of the team's insider, he tweeted, the Cowboys have agreed to a deal with running back Ronald Jones, okay, who visited the Star Monday per source. Jones spent the last year with Kansas City after a 4-year run with Tampa Bay. His best year was in 2020, where he had 192 carries, 978 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he played in only 6 games last year with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's because Isaiah Pacheco, who is a bowling ball, okay, he runs downhill, he runs hard, I love him. That's just because, of him. Ronald Jones didn't play too much. But this is a good signing. Ronald Jones, I think, still has a lot left in the tank because he won that Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2020, in that COVID year, and looked phenomenal. I was actually kind of questioning whether or not they were going to keep Ronald Jones or you're going to keep Leonard Fournette. Which one are you going to go off? And then, obviously, play off Lenny, okay, or Lombardi Lenny ended up showing up and showing out and doing his thing. So, but it looked like Ronald Jones was on a good pace, right? 724 yards in 2019, had his best season in 2020, 978 yards, and then 428 yards in 2021 with Tampa. And he still scored a touchdown last season with KC, but I don't think he's been given the right opportunity. And this may be the right opportunity because both of them are kind of similar running backs, Pollard and him. I think Pollard runs a little bit more how do you want to say it? He runs with a little bit more of an attitude compared to Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones is just kind of a put your nose down, let's try to make people miss, kind of be elusive a little bit and stuff like that. But I do think this is a smart sign for the Dallas Cowboys. Just makes a lot of sense. Exactly. I like the vet as well. I like it as well. Let's catch up here. What's up? Shout out to everyone, by the way, for tuning in. Make sure to drop that like, subscribe to the channel. Be much appreciated. Just a couple subs away from 260. So if you are new to the channel, you don't know what we do, well, we're doing exactly what we are doing now, and that's talking all things NFL related. So if that's something you would like, consider hitting that subscribe. What's my favorite signing for any team? Well, let me get my notes real quick, okay? Got a lot of them. I haven't wrote this many notes in a long time. I really like the Darren Waller to the Giants for sure. I thought that was a smart move just because they bamboozled the Raiders. Don't know how that happened. But, the Stephon Gilmore to Dallas was very interesting as well. I really like that. It will be interesting to see where Austin Eckler goes, though. I'm waiting on that news. There's a couple moves that kind of made me go, "Are you kidding me?" Like GJ to the Detroit Lions. I was like, no, because I wanted him really bad. But it is what it is. The worst signing by far was the Vikings signing tight end Josh Oliver. What are we doing? We don't need another tight end. I was pretty butthurt about that. I was like, dude, why are we focusing there? Why are we focusing on a tight end right now? It just made no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. Still looking. There's a lot of stuff going on here. God, I really have all of this? Jesus Christ. Cheese and rice. Excuse me. Nope, we don't need that. Yeah, that Darren Waller that one seems like to be my favorite so far. So far, that seems to be my favorite. We're almost done. We're almost done. Mike Gesicki. Oh, no, that one. Okay. Okay, yeah, that one was a big one. So probably my two favorite are definitely the tight ends. Darren Waller to the Giants, because the Giants traded Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs. In return, they got the 101st pick in this year's draft. The Giants in return said, okay, sounds good. We're going to take that pick, send it to Las Vegas a day after Darren Waller gets married and trades for him, okay? So he ends up in New York, and then you're looking at Mike Gesicki going to New England. That was a sleeper, but New England being Bill Belichick, he always finds a way to make that work. He always figures it out. Oh, yeah, I forgot about, Hargraves. I did see that in here. Hargraves to the Niners. Oh, God, that just makes their defense that much better, dude. They are going to be so good. They're going to be a problem. They are going to be a problem. A Rules says Jimmy G to the Raiders. Not my fave, but Jimmy G to the Raiders is pretty good. Yeah, absolutely, Mark. They got 2 times better. They're going to be phenomenal. Now they just have to find a way to stay healthy on the offensive side of things, and they also have to figure out who the hell is going to be their starting quarterback. Is it going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Brock Purdy? You're going to go out and sign somebody like you did with Sam Darnold? So you got Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. Who's going to be the starter? I'm going to ask you guys. Who do you think is going to be the starter for the San Francisco 49ers this season? Who gets the start? Absolutely, A Rules. Just after this. I want to see what you guys' answers are. And then I'll cue you up. You think Rodgers starts for the Niners? He's going to the Jets. He's going to the Jets. Not happening. Who would you start? Like, I'd almost... If they're not going to trade Trey Lance, you got to start Trey. But you can't dismiss the fact what Brock Purdy did at the end of the season. That's the only thing that makes me go, who? Like, it'll be interesting. I think you're going to have a training camp battle, and it's going to be a big battle between Brock and Trey for that 49ers starting job. Yeah, I think you have to start Trey. You have to, because you invested a draft pick in him. You said, this is going to be our guy. Yep. Absolutely. First 5 weeks, and then if Trey Lance doesn't do anything fantastic, then you throw Brock Purdy in there. I don't think they'd necessarily be disappointed if Brock didn't start, because I think they would understand, at least realistic fans would understand, smart fans would understand why they went with Trey Lance. Oh, that's right. Purdy is hurt. Yeah, he might not play for a while. That's right, because he just had that shoulder surgery or elbow surgery, one of the two. Yep, Trey Lance is the guy. Set in stone. Thank you, John, for that piece of information. That's why you're a mod. And that's why we boys, obviously. So, yes. They're a very scary team. They're going to make another run. They're going to be good for at least the next 3 years. At least the next 3 years. But they're always good, it seems like. They're a scrappy team over there in San Fran, for sure. You just have to worry about getting injured, John. That seems to be an issue over there, you know, with those ankle injuries and the shoulder injuries. Yeah, he had surgery. I think he waited a while to have surgery on it, but yeah. Anyways, let's move forward. The Atlanta Falcons made a couple moves today. The first one being that they reinstated defensive tackle Eddie Goldman, who announced his retirement last season. So they basically reinstated him from the reserved retired list, because that's a thing. You hit this list for at least there's a certain period of time that you're on that list, and you can be reactivated and stuff like that. I'm going to look at his stats real quick because I really don't know too much about him. Oh my gosh. Oh, never mind. Yeah, he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing last year. What are we talking about? Half sack last year, 22 total tackles. That means he was probably hurt. Most likely. Did I type in the right? Why is it saying he played with Chicago? Oh, yeah, that's right, because he did play with Chicago. That's why I know that name. That is why I know that name. Okay. He's only played 6 years, and he almost wanted to hang it up. Interesting. Okay. Well, Atlanta got back a 29-year-old D-tackle Eddie Goldman. Bring him back for at least one more season. We'll see how things go down there. But they also are about to make an interesting move. Okay, and this one I'm not 100% sure if it's going to happen, but it kind of makes you wonder what this team might look like going forward, because that division seems to be sort of wide open, but not really, right? You got the Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now I'm saying the Saints are going to take it just off the top of my head, but this could change some things. This is per Mike Garafolo, okay? The Falcons are planning to host veteran defensive lineman Calais Campbell on a free agent visit this week, sources say. Campbell was recently released by the Ravens, who kept the door open for his return, but in the meantime, the 15-year veteran will meet with Atlanta. So Calais Campbell, my initial thoughts when he decided to part ways and kind of walk away in free agency a little bit was that he's going to retire, he's going to hang it up, and he's going to go straight to the booth, because that's where he's been, and he's excelled at it. He's been fantastic at it, at that. So, couldn't speak with my words right there for some reason. My brain said one thing, and my mouth said another. But this would be interesting. I would like this signing for Atlanta, just because it would boost that defense just a little bit. And I'm not 100% sure what Calais did, but he always seems to be in the mix of everything. Always seems to be in the mix. Absolutely. This is a massive thing. Sign him now, Falcons. Sign him now. 5.5 sacks last year. Nothing that's going to blow you out of the water, but for his age and for what he's able to do, the type of production that he brings, I would like this. Yeah, he's been 15 years. 15 years. That's why I thought he was just going to hang it up and go to the booth. But he still believes he has a lot left in the tank. Or at least not a lot left, but he has some left. He's riding on E. Okay, but he's got about 20 more miles till it's completely empty, and I think this would be a fantastic signing for Atlanta. I really do. I believe that wholeheartedly. Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. Yes, he has. He's been absolute class. Classy player his entire career. So hopefully Atlanta can figure something out there and get a deal done, at least for one more year, especially when you have a chance to potentially win your division. I think it'd be a smart move. The only thing that worries me is hopefully he doesn't hit that wall where all of a sudden those veteran players just all of a sudden just are not good anymore. I mean, he's been in the league 15 years. This would be his 16th year. But I think what Mark said makes a lot of sense. He's good for at least one more season. So, Falcons planning to host veteran defensive lineman Calais Campbell on a free agent visit this week. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. I'll mark a star there so I know to keep an eye on it in the future. All right, another one. This will be the last of the graphics, and then we'll kind of move forward a little bit. The Dallas Cowboys are making another move. Not too big of one, but a decent one. Make sure I can pull this up before. Dude, what are we doing? I can't spell nothing. My fingers are everywhere. What are we doing? Okay. No. This is just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Okay, what am I looking at? There we go. For real, A-Rules. Like, this is just pathetic. All right. So, Dallas Cowboys, per Calvin Watkins, will resign defensive end Dante Fowler to a one-year deal, according to a person with knowledge of the signing. That's hilarious. The way he worded that. He's like, well, that's per a person with knowledge of the signing. Okay, so somebody that knows and is very knowledgeable told me that this is happening, one-year deal. But then Ian Rappaport follows it off. At long last, Dante Fowler is back in Dallas. This dude is a dog. Absolute dog. 27 combined tackles last season, 6 sacks. His best season was in 2019 when he was with LA. I'm not sure if that's the Rams or the Chargers, but I'd assume it's the Rams. He had 11.5 sacks in 58 total tackles, and he literally, 41 career sacks. You're for sure going to get 2 sacks out of this guy. That's his lowest he's had. Every single year he's had at least 2. Every single year. So this is a massive one. Good for Dallas bringing back their defensive end in Dante Fowler to pair up with Micah Parsons on the other side, if I do believe so. Yeah, because what about DeMarcus Lawrence? I suppose he's over there as well. Oh, I guess Micah Parsons is a linebacker, so that would make a lot of sense. But Dante Fowler is back on a one-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. How about them Cowboys? Let's hope they lose. Let's hope they lose this season. Their defense is phenomenal, John. They got Stephon Gilmore via trade from the Indianapolis Colts, and I have Stephon Gilmore. I'm going to take a look. Stephon Gilmore, Trevon Diggs on each side of the ball. Micah Parsons in the middle. They re-signed Leighton Vander Esch, re-signed Dante Fowler. Bro, Dallas is so damn good, but they just choke. DeMarcus Lawrence, Osa Adigawizua. That's the closest I can come to that, okay? Neville Gallimore, Dorrance Armstrong, but it's probably going to be Dante Fowler here in that situation. And then you're looking at Jabril Cox, Leighton Vander Esch, Micah Parsons, Stephon Gilmore, Jaron Kearse, Donovan Wilson, Trevon Diggs. That defense, fantastic. Fantastic. They ain't going to miss Zeke. Not a chance. Oh, shoot. I forgot to ask you. Oh, there was last year, A-Rules. Anthony Barr. I am so sorry. A-Rules, what was your question? What was your question about the Vikings? Because I can get to that. I completely forgot. I don't know boxing. I think 49ers defense is a little bit better. Just a wee bit better. But what was your question there, A-Rules? Wait for it to pop up here. I'm sure he's going to type it out. Shout out to everyone tuning in, man. Much appreciated. Make sure to drop that like, subscribe to the channel. Be much appreciated. Just getting a bunch of notifications. After all this, we'll kind of dive through what we've missed since the start of the show. Don't think there's been too much that has happened. That means things are starting to die down, which thank goodness. I think he's a free agent. Or no, he might still be. Let's look here real quick. I think he might be a free agent. Anthony. Yep, he's a free agent right now. Anthony Barr is a free agent. So they got rid of him. They parted ways. They said, nope, no more. Oh, no, you're good, boxing. You are good. Just seeing that now. Yeah, I'll let you answer that question. The Houston Texans signed former Dolphins center Michael Dieter. Don't know much about him, but it's a signing, so I had to let the people know. All right, that's just what the Texans did. They're trying to make some moves this year. They're sick of being at the bottom of the totem pole after Bill O'Brien completely put that organization in shambles, spending all their money, getting rid of all their players, basically. The Texans are trying to make a comeback here. So, A Rules has a question. Any word on Everson Griffin? I know he had mental health issues in 2019 and 2020. I forgot. But any word on if he'll ever return to us? I know it's not brought up a lot, and KOC and Questy haven't said much about it. I haven't heard nothing. Don't think we'll hear anything. Okay, he has a lot of stuff that he's going through that he needs to deal with by himself. I think he's still capable of playing in this league, not at a high caliber. He'd be a depth chart piece. If he does sign with the Vikings at any point, it'll be a one-day contract to retire a Viking, most likely. That's what I would assume. But a guy like him, if he wants to continue to play, he has to take care of his mental health first. And I mean, he got hit so many times in the head. You have to protect it. And I just hope there's nothing deeper. Like there's definitely going to be that the talk of CTE and stuff like that. But I think he just needs to take a step back and enjoy his life. Okay, that's kind of what I think. I don't think there's going to be any news on him if I had to guess. Yes. I mean, I feel bad for him too, man. But that's you sign up to play the game of football knowing what you're getting yourself into. Okay, and yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. That's what it boils down to. Like if you sign up for football and you're like, wait, I get hit in the head how many times a game? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this. And the game's not for you. You play football because you know what's coming of it, and you know what the consequences are, and you know down the line that your body might be a little sore, banged up, and stuff like that. But Everson Griffin is a dog. Yeah, John. What John said. I don't think EG is coming back. He looks so happy too. Like I think he's finally finding his rhythm in life, being happy and realizing. I think taking those amount of hits off of you, where you don't get hit in the head every single season 1,000 different times or whatever the case may be, and you're finally sitting back, relaxing. Your brain's finally having a chance to not heal, but like get back to a little bit normalcy, if you will, kind of clarity, kind of cleared up because it was probably a little foggy during when he was playing. But Everson Griffin, best of luck to him in retirement. Hope he finds the best life possible and stays happy, and hopefully he has no more spells, because there's definitely a chance of that. I wish nothing but the best for him. Wish nothing but the best for him. Oh, actually, okay. Absolutely, yeah, definitely. There's definitely Everson Griffin fans out there. I mean, maybe you'd announce it on Twitter, but I wouldn't say he's the greatest on the Vikings defense. I wouldn't say that. I would not say that at all. The greatest to ever play on the Vikings defense, probably Paul Krause. Safety, way back in the day. Or, nope, excuse me, Alan Page. Bruh. No. Everson Griffin, definitely not. Sorry, man. That the Purple People Eaters, they got the name for a reason. They got that name for a reason. I mean, you got to look at Jared Allen, too. The Williams Wall. Yeah, John Randall. Dude was a freak. I absolutely loved him. Bumped into him at one of the games at one point. That was kind of cool. So I would say Everson Griffin's definitely a top 25, maybe top 30 player on our defense ever. I wouldn't put him up there at top 5. Jared Allen was a monster. Absolutely. I actually have one of his mullets because I was at the game that he got inducted into the Ring of Honor. That was kind of cool. That was kind of cool to see. But what was your second question there, A-Rules? Or did you ask it? Because I completely forgot. The Arizona Cardinals are signing former Seattle Seahawks first-round draft pick, defensive end L.J. Collier to a 1-year deal. Probably said his last name wrong. Really don't care. If we look at his stats, though, I think he gave pretty good production for the Seattle Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken. No, he did not. He was hurt all last year. That makes a lot of sense. So what did he do the year before that? We're going to look at those stats then. Never mind. This is a very, very bad signing. Arizona, what are we doing? This is just a depth piece signing. Nothing special about it at all. I thought he was a lot better because I remember seeing his name being called and he was always flying around, but he is booty cheeks, to say the least. Don't like it. Good for Arizona. Continuing to get worse. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Former Commanders defensive back Bobby McCain is actually signing and staying in the division. He's signing with the New York Giants on a 1-year deal. Don't really know too much about him either. Probably should have done my research, but here we are. You know, just how I am. I'm rolling around. Plus, we've been having a fantastic day on this stream. Shout out to everyone watching, man. Make sure to drop that like, subscribe to the channel. I'm sure I got the same 6 people in here that I've had for the past week, which is fantastic. Starting to gain a little audience. That's kind of cool, man. About 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I wouldn't have had this. So it's kind of cool. If this would load, that'd be fantastic. It always does this. Bobby McCain, though, had 1 forced fumble last year, no interceptions, 5 pass deflections, and 54 solo tackles. So he's not bad. You're going to get a nice production out of him. He's safety. Yeah, so he's a safety. Okay, so he's not going to really blow the top off of anybody, but I think the Giants needed that piece, and he's probably cheap. It's a 1-year deal, so not expensive at all for the New York Giants. All right, another signing as well was the Carolina Panthers re-signing defensive end Henry Anderson to a 1-year deal as well. What is going on, man? Come on. Go. Thank you. Golly. All right, so Henry Anderson is re-signed by the Carolina Panthers, 1-year deal, had 18 total tackles last year, nothing spectacular. In 2021 with New England, he didn't even play, but his best season, I believe, oh my God, was in 2018 with the Jets, 35 total tackles, 7 sacks. So you might get something out of him. It could be a special signing, but nothing probably spectacular is going to come out of this one. I think he's more of just a depth piece in case somebody gets hurt. So Henry Anderson signs with the Carolina Panthers. Your favorite signing was Adam Thielen to the Panthers? Okay. I didn't mind that signing. I thought it was a smart move. Need a veteran guy in there. You lose DJ Moore, you bring back Adam Thielen. That's perfect. 3-year, $25 million. Not too expensive, but just cheap enough. What's up, Daniel? How we doing, my guy? Appreciate you. We've been talking about everything that's happened in free agency so far. It has been a wild day. I think we've been live for about an hour and 20 minutes, or close to it. Or close to it. Let's get this out of the way because there's nothing else. All right, now it's time to take a look at the old Twitter, see what's popping off over there. All right. All right. See if we missed anything when we start. By the time we started the show, up until now, I don't know if we did, but we are certainly going to check. I don't think he was. I think Daniel's been here for a little bit. I think. All right. Ari Mirov finally gave us the terms on the Bills signing former Patriots running back Damian Harris. They actually signed him to a 1-year contract with a base value of $1.7 million per source. Wow, that's cheap. $1.7 million for Damian Harris on a 1-year deal for the Buffalo Bills. He'll have a chance to string together a full season with the high-powered Bills offense and then become a free agent again next offseason. So this contract tells me it's a prove-it year for Damian Harris. Kind of go out there, show us what you got, and then next year in free agency, we'll either re-sign you to a larger deal or you can go make money elsewhere or find money elsewhere, whatever team he decides to go to. Damian Harris, 1 year, $1.7 million. Cheap. Very, very cheap. Wow. Yeah, pro days are happening right now as we speak. I believe Cam Newton is actually throwing at Auburn's pro day. He's throwing to his brother, Kalen. Probably said that completely wrong. I read it earlier. I could find it, I suppose, even though I don't really need to. But he's throwing to his brother on his pro day, who's actually a target for this year's NFL draft. So good for him. Hopefully things kind of work out in his favor. Looks like Bryce Young is balling out on his pro day. Okay, that's nice. The Cardinals have signed offensive lineman Dennis Daly to a 2-year contract. He started 16 games for the Titans last season at left tackle. There you go, Cardinals, trying to boost up that offensive line play. We like it. We like it. And that is basically it. Nothing else has kind of popped off. We hit on most of it. Lots of signings today. We talked about Austin Eckler, where he's going to go. We're not sure. DeAndre Hopkins seems like the trade talks are kind of ramping up right now, so it'll be interesting to see what teams are in on the DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes. Remember, $30 million against the cap this season, so they're probably going to have to alter that contract and figure some stuff out. We talked about OBJ, literally everything you can imagine. Calais Campbell taking a visit to the Atlanta Falcons later this week. Lots of stuff is popping off. We'll put it that way. That was a very bad wording of it. But there is crazy amount of stuff that is happening in the National Football League, and it's going to continue. Still lots of names available in this year's free agency. Odell Beckham, where does he go? Bobby Wagner is still available. Dalton Reisner, Isaiah Wynn, Rocky Sin, Yannick Ngakoue, Teddy Bridgewater. The names go on, man. There's a lot. There is a lot that needs to happen. I cannot wait for it. We will definitely be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time to talk about everything that has happened from this point till we get live at 6 p.m. And then we'll kind of catch up and see what happens. Appreciate everyone who tuned in today. Make sure to drop that like, subscribe to the channel. Be much, much appreciated. This is fun, man. I've had a blast, an absolute blast this past week and a half. 38 subs. I've grown faster this week than I've had any other week. One of my best streams. Couldn't thank you guys enough. It's been a blast. It's been a pleasure. We will see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. Hope you guys had a fantastic day, and you just got your fix with the Wicks. Appreciate you.